You guys ever wondered what it would be like to have a potion that just gives you confidence?
You mean beer?
Oh, right.
There's one in your hand right now.
Oh, right. Welcome back to Scared of the Dark. It's the show where we go over each episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And today, we're watching The Tale of the Dark Dragon.
There's a dragon in this one?
That's awesome.
Well, don't get excited yet. It's not quite that.
I bet he breathes fire.
Well, don't hold your breath. The Tale of the Dark Dragon is the story of a socially awkward guy who finds a magic potion that gives him confidence, but the side effects are a little hairy. Sure, we've seen it before, but have we seen it with spontaneous rabbit combustion? I don't think so. So, let's take our medicine for the Tale of the Dark Dragon. The episode starts with Gary showing up to the Midnight Society's bonfire with the rest of the kids mysteriously gone. That is, before they all jump out and surprise him for his birthday. And David even surprises him with a very special story that he wrote just for him. And that kicks us right into the Tale of the Dark Dragon. In the story, we see a guy with big ol' eyebrows named Keith surprising a girl named Mariah with a box of chocolates. Mariah asks Keith if he's going to the school dance, to which Keith says he's more of a sit back and watch kind of guy.
Oh, so he sits in the chair and watches.
I don't think they meant it that way.
I think they meant to say he uses the cuck chair.
Suddenly, a cool guy named Gary comes in hacky-sacking when he loses control of his sack and hacks it right over to Keith, who we then find out was in a pretty severe car accident and lost a lot of mobility in his legs. And then suddenly his story about sitting back and watching the dance makes some more sense. As Keith walks out of the library, he bumps into a girl named Sally. Immediately, Keith is asking Sally if she's going to the dance, to which she says she's waiting for Gary to ask her. Keith immediately says he is willing to fill in, right in front of Maria.
This guy sucks.
How can you bring a girl chocolates and then just completely brush her off?
Not just brush her off. Ask out another girl to the thing you rejected her to.
Exactly, that's not even being aloof of her feelings, that's just being an ass. Later on, Shelley meets up with Gary, but Keith thinks she's there to meet up with him. Dejected, Keith thumbs through a comic book and sees an ad for a magical potion that gives you more confidence. Next thing we know, we're at a magic shop, and we see the triumphant return of Sardo.
I thought he was trapped in a crystal ball.
Yeah, if you watched The Tale of the Super Specs or you saw my episode before Paramount nuked it, you would know that Sardo got trapped in a glass ball with a few kids after he opened a window to another dimension.
That was a little dark for a kid's show.
Let's just assume the witch lady let them out and they're living a normal life now. Keith buys Sardo's potion, but he's not willing to be a guinea pig for it. Before he leaves, he puts a few drops on a rabbit, where its fur gets nice and healthy. This is enough to convince Keith, but as he leaves, the rabbit spontaneously combusts.
So he killed a rabbit and left.
He didn't know he killed a rabbit. He thought he made it better.
Let's see if that stands up in court.
At home, Keith takes a drop of the potion, where he starts experiencing cardiac arrest. As soon as he's on the other side of the episode, we see he pops up with a better haircut, functioning legs, and a cool leather jacket. Keith marches right to the diner and goes up to Sally, introducing himself as KC, Keith's cousin. Sally buys the line entirely and lets him eat with her. Sally must be really into the Dawson's Creek look.
Did the potion give him the leather jacket?
It must have.
The next day, Keith wakes up looking like his disheveled and mildly disabled self, with a few new scars to add. As Keith leaves, he runs into Mariah, who asks who that strange man was leaving his house, but Keith nervously denies anything. When Keith makes it to school, Sally immediately runs up to him and asks if she can see his cousin KC again. Keith says he'll see what he can do, but when he gets home, he's determined not to use the potion anymore, and he tries to fake it through a phone call. But when Sally offers to watch TV, the 90s version of Netflix and chill, he decides he needs that potion. I'm not going to say he made the right choice, but it's understandable. I mean, a lot of people in that situation would fold just the same way.
You would drink poison to talk to a girl?
When I was in high school? Probably.
I'm not surprised.
The next day, Keith wakes up with a slightly worse limp, along with growing pointy ears, fangs, and facial hair. almost like a werewolf. Keith runs to Sardo's magic shop to see if they can reverse these symptoms, but it turns out that Sardo did not read the entire spell. It turns out that after you consume the potion, you have to defeat the dark dragon within. Keith goes home in full panic mode, turning into a full troll, and Mariah sees that he's freaking out and goes in to follow him. As Mariah begs Keith to reach out and let her help him, we see Keith's face is all kinds of messed up. He looks vaguely dragon-like, but it still feels more like a werewolf or troll transformation.
Maybe he'll get wings.
How many dragons do you know that have beards?
Bearded dragons. Duh. Keith sneaks out to the school and uses yet another drop of potion to turn back into KC. But this time Mariah sees everything. And as KC goes out to the dance floor to meet up with Sally, Mariah breaks into the locker and drinks the rest of the potion. At the dance, the principal stops the music to hand out the award to the most athletic student, which is absolutely insane and not something that happens at homecoming dances.
I think you're just jealous that you never won most athletic student to attend homecoming.
Yeah, kinda. But why didn't they just use homecoming king and queen, normal awards?
Maybe they're anti-monarchy.
Also, they didn't even give him an award for a specific sport. They just gave him most athletic, like one of those end-of-year senior things. Like, are they going to give out most likely to succeed, too?
You wouldn't win that one either.
I didn't win that one, and that's why I'm stuck in Ohio talking to myself about kids' TV shows.
Sounds about right.
Anyway, Gary decides to dedicate this new trophy to his ex-girlfriend Sally, who's so moved by this that she dumps KC then and there. KC then, dejected, walks back to the dance floor when he sees Mariah calmly and coolly stroll right up to him and claim that she loves him and is willing to do anything to be the girl that he wants. Due to drinking so much potion at once, Mariah's transformation is expedited. She starts convulsing and the two go out to the hallway. As Mariah is in pain from the transformation, Keith is in tears, claiming that he never wanted her to change herself. He wanted to change because he hated himself. He never realized how much this self-loathing really hurt the people around him. And thus, he confronts his demon and stops her transformation. With that, Keith defeated his dark dragon. And as a bonus, both Keith and Mariah got to keep the positive benefits of the potion. End of story. The episode ends with David telling Gary happy birthday. But I think he's trying to tell him something different because he specially wrote a love story specifically for him. And that ends the episode. So the black dragon wasn't a dragon at all. It was more of a metaphor about overcoming your personal demons.
How did Keith beat Mariah's dragon too?
He did kind of two birds, one stone that whole situation, which kind of shortchanges Mariah's whole character. She doesn't have to reflect on why she wanted to massively change her body and personality just to impress a boy. Her dragon was content with just being with Keith.
That's such a sad ending for her.
It's a very naive and childish take on a love story, that's for sure, but the message isn't even good. For a little girl like Mariah watching this episode, you're not taking anything positive away from it. Despite the story being cliche at best, I did like the makeup effects in it. Each step of Keith's transformation into the dragon, it felt, progressive and real. It felt good, and we didn't even see the final transformation. So, the door's open for a big magical dragon to sprout out of nowhere. With all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and give The Tale of the Dark Dragon 3 sips of potion out of 5. Check it out. And if you need confidence in your daily life, do not resort to potions. Just, therapy. That's probably the best one, but also beer is cheap. So you could try both of those, and if both those don't work, then, I hear some people will drive big lifted trucks, big lift truck. You'll get big ego boost, vroom vroom with the big high beams that shine through people's back windows and make them drive off the road. Man, you must feel like you have a gigantic wiener after that. I can only imagine. Well, I'll see you guys next time on Scared of the Dark.
What if I were pressed? I'd say $40?
$40?
All right, 35, but I'm losing on the deal. Thanks just the same.